Do you often feel emotionally unfulfilled, empty, uncared for, misunderstood, alone? Do you feel like life is an emotional desert? Does it feel like you'll be alone forever? If yes, stay tuned, and let's take a look at where this experience is coming from and how to change it. Hey everyone, welcome to Becoming an Expert at Self-Leadership. I'm Maika, I'm a psychologist. And I keep seeing how helpful it is for people to understand their early life experiences and to recognize what they're doing in the present, often subconsciously, to recreate the past. Our minds love to stay with the familiar rules of life, and that makes us psychologically and emotionally addicted to the past and to recreating it in the present. Our earliest life experiences, the experiences we made as babies and children, have a way of setting us up for life. As adults, subconsciously, we expect things to go the same way they did when we were young. This means we won't be surprised. We'll even expect hurtful patterns from our childhood to get repeated in the present. And subconsciously, we even contribute to those repetitions. This is called the repetition compulsion. How you may be recreating your experience of emotional lack. This repetition of the past is also true for the experience of emotional lack, of feeling unloved, uncared for, misunderstood, or alone. Here are some ways you may be directly contributing to this experience getting repeated in the present. You expect others to intuitively know what you need or to be able to read your mind. You don't spell out your needs, and later you're frustrated and resentful when they're not taken care of. You don't share what's going on in your inner world with significant or potentially significant people in your life. You don't share vulnerable moments with others, and in that way, you make it impossible for them to be there for you when you need them. You accuse others of not caring about you when they actually do. You choose romantic partners or friends that are cold, distant, unavailable, or less interested in the emotional connection than you are. You expose yourself to people that take you for granted, expect you to give more than they do, that don't listen, and do all the talking themselves. And to turn this pattern around, it helps to understand what causes a persistent experience of emotional lack. The short and simple answer is childhood emotional neglect. However, it can be difficult to figure out if that's something you experienced. Neglect isn't about the things that happened, but about the things that didn't happen. So often people who experience childhood emotional neglect aren't aware of it. You may see yourself as just always having been more anxious or tense than other people. You may think, well, my parents didn't abuse me, so I guess I had a good childhood. I was never hungry or cold. My physical needs were taken care of. But we also have emotional needs, and that's not something all parents are aware of. We learn how to take care of our emotional needs from our early caregivers. We learn how to feel connected and how to establish connections from them, if that's something that they're teaching us. Here are some questions you can ask yourself to figure out if you experienced childhood emotional neglect. Did you feel seen, heard, and understood by your parents or early caregivers? Did they cherish you? Did they make you feel special and loved for being you? Were your parents affectionate? Did you snuggle? Did they hug you? Did you talk about inner topics and emotions with your parents? Did you have someone to go to when something painful happened? Could you tell them when something bad happened, knowing that they would understand and have your back? The less you answer these questions with yes, the more you experience childhood emotional neglect. How to find emotional connection. Stepping out of this repeating pattern of feeling unloved starts with compassionately acknowledging the traces that your childhood left. Learn to compassionately notice whenever this pattern is activated. Learn to tell the difference between what is actually going on around you and what your pattern of childhood emotional neglect is making you think is happening. You can ask yourself questions like, is the other person really not making an effort to understand me? Or am I not giving them a chance by not really opening up? Does the other person really not want to help me get my needs fulfilled? Or am I not expressing my needs directly enough? Does the other person really not care right now? Or am I projecting my parent into them? Write down a list of red flags in people and relationships that aren't good for you, that you don't want to expose yourself to whenever you can avoid it. You may feel the most chemistry with people that assign a relationship role to you that is similar to what was going on in your childhood and that repeats your experience of emotional neglect. So be honest with yourself. Whenever you meet someone new, whenever you enter a new relationship, look out for red flags. Is the other person doing all the talking? Are they not making an effort to listen and understand your feelings? Do they expect you to always accommodate to what they want? Do they expect you to be the caregiver without offering the same in return? And in relationships that do have a good fundament, no red flags, practice making it possible for someone to love you, to take care of you, to be there for you, to understand you. Express what you need. Express your thoughts. Be persistent whenever necessary. Be vulnerable and honest with them. Practice making room for the experience of being loved and cared for, even if it feels strange at first. Allow it to happen, even if it challenges you. Also practice noticing whenever someone cares for you, even if that care is different from the way you would care for someone. Your brain isn't used to detecting emotional care from others, so you may overlook it in moments when it's actually there. And then also take a moment to let that positive experience sink in. Allow yourself to notice the sensations and feelings it causes in your body so that you can actually really experience and feel the feeling of love, the warmth and affection of the other person. Fundamental early life experiences that leave their traces, like a persistent sense of emotional lack, don't change overnight, but they do change. You can learn to feel emotionally connected and fulfilled. You're not doomed to be alone forever. All it takes is practice. Take a little step today, then rest. Take another step tomorrow. Your future self will thank your current self for having done the work because it's so worth it. Thanks for watching. If you'd like more input from me, remember to hit the subscribe button and also check out my weekly email newsletter at the link on my webpage or in the description box below this video. Till next time, take care and remember, you're worthy and capable of love and connection.